Okay, this is practical tarot reading number 2, and I'm calling this one the atmosphere. So, you probably have seen in a news broadcast or TV show or even in a movie a scene set in the United Nations in the General Assembly where you've got somebody speaking, and maybe the person's talking in Chinese, and the other diplomats and representatives are sitting around. They don't understand Chinese, so they're listening on headphones while a translator somewhere listens to what is being said in Chinese and translates basically word for word what's said into English, French, Italian, Norwegian, whatever the other language happens to be. So it's like there's the speaker and the translator sent in these paragraphs, and then you've got the interpreter who does a faithful version or gives a faithful version to in the language that the person needs. So that I think is kind of like what a lot of tarot reading is like, where somebody asks a question and then you pick a card and the reader looks at the card and tries to see what sentence or paragraph or what meaning the card has, and then tries to pass that information, translates the information for the questioner. And I don't think that's really what's going on with the tarot, because I think if you do that kind of thing, looking for a meaning or looking for the correct meaning, you get kind of stuck. And you have doubts and you wonder if, have you picked the right meaning, or am I going about this the right way? And I think it's just not it's not that productive a way to read cards, even though it may be okay and maybe you get the right answer, and but somehow it doesn't flow the same way. And I think readers like to have confidence and to feel that the reading is flowing and that they're not struggling and having to look at books and make stuff up. So let's say you're having a conversation with somebody and they say they're going to go on a picnic. If it's a sunny day, you can look out the window and say, okay, it's a sunny day. It looks like you're going to have a nice picnic because it's nice and warm. There's a little bit of a breeze so that if it gets hot, it's not going to get that hot. So it'll be pleasantly warm and comfortable. Looks like there's no clouds in the sky, so you're not going to get rained out. So it looks like it's going to be a good day. Because you look at the atmosphere of the weather and you say things based on the atmosphere that relate to, I mean, if somebody says they're going to go to a shopping mall and be indoors and you look at the weather, you know, it doesn't, you haven't got that much to say because it depends on what you're talking about. Whereas let's say that somebody says I'm going to go on a picnic and you look out and you see there's a storm or it's cloudy and dark and a wind is getting up and the temperature's dropped. Maybe you would say things like, are you sure you really want to go on a picnic? Or if you're going to go on a picnic, make sure that you take some warm clothes with you. So the kinds of things that you would say, again, are determined by the weather and what you know about what the person's intending to do. And I think that's how a tarot reading should be done. So it's not like there's the questioner and the answer and you, the reader. It's like there's you and the questioner, the reader and the questioner together having a conversation. But what the reader says is determined by or comes from the atmosphere shown by the card. And you relate the atmosphere to the answer, depending what the question is. So let's say you've got the Three of Cups. Somebody says, am I going to get a promotion? Or I think I'd like to go for a promotion. So you turn and you get the Three of Cups. So you look at the picture and it shows a celebration and a happy time. And you've got people dancing. So everybody knows that how the dance should take place and the different movements that the feet have to go through. And they cooperate with each other and they get along with each other. So the person says, am I going to get a promotion? You say yes, because you're in harmony with the other people. They like you, you like them. You're all in step, right? Because you're dancing together and it's harmonious. And there's reason to celebrate, so it looks like good news coming up. Whereas the Three of Cups is upside down. It looks good, but maybe you're not quite in harmony or in as much harmony as you think you are, right? So look carefully and make sure that the direction you want to go in is also the direction the company, the new job, would take you in. Because it may be with the card being upside down that you're assuming that, or you haven't asked enough questions, and you're assuming that you and the company are going in the same direction, but in fact you're not. And if you were to ask some questions, you would discover that maybe this isn't the right place for you at the moment. Or if you decide, I mean, it could be, but you would have to change because the company probably isn't going to change its general direction just to suit you. But you may decide that it's worth it to change your direction to cooperate with the company. Okay, the battery in the camera ran out, so this is a last little bit that I'm putting at the end here. So I'm saying a tarot reading is you and the questioner having a conversation. So maybe the person says, am I going to get a job, or am I going to get this promotion? And let's say you turn and you turn a card and you get the Eight of Swords. This is the person standing in the water, bound, blindfold, and the Eight Swords around them. So it's a card of being, or it shows somebody who doesn't have that much control over circumstances or conditions, and maybe they're kind of stuck. So, am I going to get a promotion? You'll say to the person, are you sure that this is what you really want? Okay, and have you looked? Because if you look, the person in the card has got a blindfold over them. So have you actually looked at the job or the new job or the prospects or the possibilities? Or are you just keeping your fingers crossed it's all going to work out? Because if you haven't looked and examined and seen clearly what's involved with the new job and the new company, you're going to get a shock, or you're going to find that if you do get the job, it's not what you really want, or it's going to turn out to be something very different from what you'd expected. So are you sure? And generally speaking, if you get it, if the card's upright, that means, I think, it would mean yes. So you're going to get it, but you're not going to be that happy. Whereas if the card is upside down, you probably begin with something like, you're not going to want to hear this, but, and then you talk about being stuck and being trapped. So maybe the advice is, if you get a card like the Eight of Swords coming up in connection with prospects for a new job or for a promotion, remembering that we're looking at the card as the kind of atmosphere that you're in, you might want to ask the person how sure they are about what they're proposing to do, and that's kind of it. So a reading, it's not so much, I think, you discovering the answer and translating it for the benefit of the questioner. It's more you and the other person having a discussion and you being guided to know what to say by the illustration on the card. And if you can put that together, the conversation, the reading flows well, and the person goes off understanding better what to do, or why they should do it, or why they ought to hold off for the time being, and they've got a better understanding of the strengths and weaknesses of their own position at that time. At least that's what I think. Okay, so if you have comments or questions, send me an email or leave a comment down below. And number 3, practical tarot number 3 is going to be about court cards. And I'm going to call it Court Cards No Longer a Problem. Because I'm going to tell you how to deal with court cards so that they're no longer a problem. Okay, thanks.